first and last name, can you spell it, please?
Detective Bill Bustos, Bustos, with the Los Angeles Police Department. We are in the process of investigating a traffic collision that occurred on Wednesday evening at approximately 10:15 here on Van Owen and Odessa Avenue in the community of Van Nuys. What we know is that we had a male in his 50s pushing a shopping cart southbound from the northeast to the southeast corner of this intersection. Traveling westbound on the number 1 lane, there was a 2005 Toyota Camry being driven by a male in his 60s. Unfortunately, that driver did not see that pedestrian crossing the street, and there was an impact with a shopping cart and also the pedestrian. Unfortunately, that pedestrian was launched forward and suffered some very, very serious injuries, and unfortunately he lost his life here at the scene. We're trying to locate family members of the pedestrian. Right now, we do not know who he is. So if anybody knows a male in his 50s who resides in this area, who probably is transient, please contact the Los Angeles Police Department at 818-644-8000. We are also asking for drivers to please watch your speed, obey all the traffic signs, especially the speed signs. Look for pedestrians who may be crossing the street so that we don't have, or to avoid a traffic collision. And also for pedestrians, we're asking them to please wear light colored clothing and please look to the left and to the right continuously until you get to the other side of the street to avoid being involved in a traffic collision. Unfortunately, here in the San Fernando Valley this year, the number of traffic collisions involving pedestrians have increased significantly, and we want to make sure that the public is aware that this is happening so that they are extra careful when they're driving and also when they're walking and crossing the street.
Just to verify, this was not a crosswalk, or is this a crosswalk?
This is an unmarked crosswalk. The pedestrians have the right to cross at a street corner in an unmarked crosswalk unless it says specifically not to cross at that intersection. The pedestrians have the right to cross in an unmarked crosswalk. In a marked crosswalk, this happens to be an unmarked crosswalk when the pedestrian was crossing the street.
The speed, approximate speed rather, of the driver?
This is a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. We do not believe that speed was a factor in this collision. However, it was dark, and that may have contributed to this collision because obviously the driver did not see the pedestrian. And a pedestrian, as he's crossing the street, needs to look to the left, to the right, try to make visual contact with the driver if possible to ensure that the driver sees the pedestrian as the pedestrian is crossing the street.
Now into lit crosswalk.
Well, we do have a lighting here at this intersection, but we also be cognizant that to the south there is a park, to the north there is the airport. So there are spaces where there is no lighting, so that's going to contribute to it being dark in this area. And the persons who are crossing the street have to be cognizant of that and be extra careful. Same thing with the drivers, they have to be extra careful because it is a dark area, and we want to make sure that we're looking for pedestrians crossing the street and yield to pedestrians when they're crossing the street to avoid a traffic collision. The pedestrian, after the impact, he was launched across the intersection, ultimately coming to rest west of the intersection. The driver came to a stop approximately a half a block away because obviously the reaction time, the shock of being involved in a traffic collision, the person did stop. It is not a hit and run. He complied with the law as far as stopping and rendering aid. So that person is being interviewed right now by one of our detectives, and after we have completed our investigation, he will be allowed to leave.
So no citation issued?
At this moment, there is no citation. However, our investigation is going to be continuing. Once we gather all the information, we will make a determination how. Pretty thorough.